10. The death of religion. In the previous segment, I discussed how modernity stripped religion of its many roles and also replaced religious morality with a humanist morality. But despite science debunking many religious myths, religion has persisted throughout the world. In this segment, I discuss how religion has adapted to modernity. In 1882, Friedrich Nietzsche said that God was dead. But today, 150 years later, God is still alive and kicking. Today, the majority of humans still believe in the concept of God. So the question is, why is the idea of God so persistent despite centuries of science telling us it is the figment of our own imagination? It comes down to a very simple answer. Science only tells us how nature and the universe work. It's like a microscope that focuses primarily on the material world. When it comes to non-material entities like consciousness, you cannot point to a microscope at it. Consciousness cannot be seen through a scientific lens because it's the lens itself. This remains a scientific mystery. As I said earlier, religion loves a good mystery. If science is a story of how it works, religion is in fact a whodunit story. Science is like a daytime activity. Religion is a nighttime activity when things are dark and you can't see things clearly. So long as there are blind spots in science, religion is there to offer answers. There are several reasons why religions have persisted despite scientific discoveries disproving its myths. A. We are storytelling animals. First, one of the biggest reasons religions persist is its never-changing characteristics. A religious story told 3,000 years ago is still told in the same way today. This is not the case with science. Also, scientific explanations like the Big Bang Theory is just a theory. Since science evolves, it keeps changing its story of how the universe works. For example, Newton explained the universe in terms of mass, telling gravity to apply how much force. But Einstein argued that mass tells the fabric of space-time how much to curve or bend. In other words, Newton believed that space was empty, while Einstein believed that space is not empty, but more like a fabric full of property and energy. While science is an evolving story, religions believe the truth never changed. Who doesn't love a story so solid that it never changes? As long as we're humans, we crave great stories. Science is good at analyzing and discovering things, but it lacks the charm and the charisma of a good storyteller. Religion has thousands of years of experience in storytelling, so it still persists as long as we have the same software. Our human software is a story. We understand the world in terms of stories, with a clear beginning, a middle, and end. Religions all have that. Science is always stuck in the middle. B. Mysteries. Second, despite science explaining many things, there are still some things that still remain a mystery, like what is consciousness? How did life begin? What was there before the universe? Why did the universe begin in the first place? These questions have no clear scientific answers. In the absence of clear answer, religion lets you see things. Basically, if you have to reduce religion to one thing, it explains the things which cannot be explained through reason. While science is purely rational, humans are multifaceted, and rationality is only one dimension. We are also driven by passion and emotions. Science looks after our physical being, religion looks after our psychological and emotional beings. Einstein famously said, quote, "Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind." In other words, science lets us pause to see things, but religion motivates us to move. Science makes us hesitate, while a blind passion keeps us going despite the danger. Religion is a joke, and science tries to explain the joke, but humans keep craving a new joke. So we humans are not really driven by rationality, but more so by passion, which tends to be blind. Religion lurks in the darkness and loves mysteries. Third, religion offers free psychotherapy. Another function of religion was confession, which allowed people to tell their secrets they couldn't tell anyone else. Religious confession is a major part of the Catholic Church. It offers release, which is catharsis, so you could unburden yourself from your inner disturbing thoughts. Today, psychotherapy has pretty much replaced that. In fact, Sigmund Freud, the father of modern psychotherapy, or the talking cure as he called it, basically mimicked church to monetize confession. Today is a $1 trillion business as more and more people, especially in wealthy countries of Europe and North America, seek therapy. It's no coincidence that religion is perhaps the weakest in these countries. So perhaps lack of religion pushes you or liberates you to make money, but then you need to spend that money on therapy to cope with life, which is pretty cyclical economy. It's interesting that the Buddha understood this thousands of years ago by saying that abundance of material comfort cannot protect you from suffering. Religion is like a good mother who listens to you and comforts you and heals your deepest wounds. Today, your mother is replaced by a psychotherapist. D. Meaninglessness. Fourth, the alternative is not fulfilling. Nihilism is the religion that denies there is a deeper meaning in life, so our only salvation is to enjoy this life. A good example is consumerism today, which is seeking fulfillment and meaning through shopping, consuming, and endless pleasure seeking. To sustain this, we need to work hard, which stresses us out, and to release the stress, we must buy new bags, new clothes, new gadgets, or indulgent food and drinks. It's a vicious cycle that has trapped millions of us today. Today, more and more people feel empty of meaning, which means more work for the therapists and psychiatry clinics. Alcohol, drugs, entertainment, social media do offer distraction, but only for a short time. Deeper questions remain. So you could say, despite centuries of modernity telling us that we are rational, logical beings, we cannot get rid of our demons like addiction to food, drugs, alcohol, games, etc. So no matter how much we try to tell ourselves that there is no meaning in life, it keeps bugging us and keeps cropping up. Consumerism is nothing but an addiction because something else is missing. A deeper meaning or purpose is nothing but a belief that something bigger is at play and that things are getting better, or you are making a difference, or there's a taller mountain you can climb. E. Getting old. Finally, the fifth reason religion will persist is that we all age. We all have a finite amount of time, so our body slows down as we age. In Japan, there's a saying that Japanese are born Shinto, but they die Buddhist. Shinto is animistic and is a religion of this life, and Buddhism is a religion of afterlife. Shinto is the religion of action, goals, ambitions, and conquering the world. Buddhism is the religion of inaction, meditation, and conquering the self. As we age, our body tells us to slow down, your knees buckle under your weight, and your brain fogs more often. This biological change creates psychological consequences. We can no longer compete with the young in the real world, so we seek a deeper meaning in life. So old people turn to religion because the material world was good and dandy when young, but now it's time we find a new anchor. A psychological anchor to our diminishing body. So religion has fulfilled that role for as long as humans remember. It's not just old age. Religion also appeals to the sick and the powerless. Marx famously said that religion is the opiate of the masses. So instead of taking their sword and smashing the rich, the poor people find solace in the church. In other words, religion was a sedative, a pacifier, or a security blanket for those who didn't have a warm blanket. Despite science curing many illnesses, we still suffer from deadly diseases, in the same way our early ancestors experienced suffering. This is why we still believe in superstition. Despite getting schooled for 12 years about how the world works scientifically, most people are still superstitious when it comes to life's big events. Certain colors, items, signs, etc. can make us believe that certain things might or might not happen. For example, if you follow a sports team, you realize that you're pretty superstitious about them winning or losing. So science in general doesn't believe that there is anything else beyond matter. In other words, somehow these chemical elements which make up the human brain become conscious. But the leap is too big, so it is not convincing for many people. So religions fill the void that exists inside the human mind. That void is non-material. Therefore, it seeks a non-material answer. The human mind is also seeking an answer that fits it. It's a software, so religion has been the human software since the dawn of time, and humans have not changed much. While our material needs have been met, even exceeded, which answers our physical needs like food and shelter, etc., our mind, however, still seeks meaning, purpose for itself. Meaning is not the domain of science, so we seek elsewhere. So to conclude, despite science's effort to debunk religious myths, religion persists in our lives. From superstition to meditation, we all have religious beliefs which we cannot untangle ourselves from. As Carl Jung said, humans come pre-assembled with archetypes, and religions seem to have existed within those archetypes, just like our DNA. Storytelling and religion are so intertwined that we cannot separate one from the other. In our survival, science seems a sharper tool, but it lacks in charisma and a storytelling technique to compete against the emotional power of some religious stories. Science is like a big dude with immense brute force trying to compete with a master storyteller in telling beautiful stories, or a great rap artist who has the words. We humans prefer good stories and often don't care if they are true or not. It makes us feel good or move us to tears. Stories led millions of men to sacrifice their lives, fueled world conquests, and built empires. Science only wipes the tears, but never makes us emotional enough to bring us to tears. Religion is an art form, so it still does it for many people. Religion persists until our brains are so rewired completely that we don't have emotions, we don't respond to stories. Robots most likely won't need religion to motivate them.